If Dad was an attorney, he would be the small one-office attorney that takes on larger corporations, like a David and Goliath thing. If he believes in something, he won't stop.
The Aloha spirit reigns supreme here.
Alvin's a genius. He's a real selective genius, though.
It's admirable how he pursues things.
Aloha is caring.
When he has a goal and when he wants to do something, he will go against the grain.
Aloha is remembering others.
There's Alvin, he's lead designer. He's the all-around guy, R&D guy, crazy guy.
He's not afraid to break tradition. He's not afraid to break the rules in his pursuit of excellence.
Aloha is caring.
The things that he wants to excel in, by far, he goes completely overboard.
Aloha is not giving up. Aloha is family.
Which is probably how he became successful.
For us here at KoAloha, Aloha is love.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gordon Mark, and I'm from Hawaii, from the island of Oahu. And I'm here at the KoAloha studios, or the KoAloha factory. And the technique that I'm using mainly these two fingers. And right now, what I'm going to do is do a really fast 2-minute lesson. Okay. So what's happening is that I'm going to use my thumb to pick the top 2 strings and my first finger to pick the bottom 2. If I start off with the lowest note, which is this, go to the next note. So the 2 inside strings, then the outside strings. If I put the 4 together, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want to go back to the lowest note, I'm going to have to go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, already back to 1. The right hand is not going to change, the chord structures will change. When I did the end of the Bach Jesu, I did this. All at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's the secret of what I'm doing.
Hi there, everybody. This is KoAloha Ukulele Factory, and this is the KoAloha Ohana, and we'd like to wish you the warmest aloha from Hawaii. I'd like to introduce the people involved in the KoAloha Ukulele Factory, our family, our ohana, and I'd like to start off with my eldest son, Alan, who runs the entire show here. Alan?
Hi, my name is Alvin Okami. I'm the oldest son of Alvin and Pat Okami, the founders of KoAloha.
My name is Patricia Okami, and I've been married to my husband for 38 years this year, and on our anniversary I always tell him, so many years of wedded bliss. Sarcasm on my part.
He's the brains. He runs the entire show. He's the business guy. So this is my son, Alan, and without him, basically, KoAloha would not be where it is today. And we have next my youngest son, Paul. He saw the opportunity back in 1995 to make a major decision in his life, whether to pursue his college or to come work with older brother and dad, and he chose to work with brother and dad. He does all of the selecting of the koa wood, the milling, all of the technical stuff associated with producing KoAloha ukulele. And so he establishes what type of koa wood will be used for the neck or the body or the fretboard. And here we have Benjamin, or Ben the Bender. I can't get anything past this guy. His eye is impeccable. He's a master bender. What Ben does is he takes the sides of the ukulele and he soaks it in the water, takes it out, and through a bending process, he bends the wood into the shape. His name is Benjamin, but we call him Ben, the master bender. Now Ben is our family. He's part of our KoAloha Ohana. And next we have Grover, the ultimate spray man. So what Grover does at KoAloha, he has become our crack spray man.
What I do is put on the finish, the ukulele, and it's method 2 coats, a base coat and a top coat.
And we have here my older brother whose help is absolutely incredible.
Hi, my name's Harold, and I'm Alvin Okami's older brother. I'm retired. I've been retired for 16 years now. I got bored doing yard work at home. So I told my brother if he needs help, I'll come down and help him. I'm enjoying every bit of it. I'm happy to be here.
My brother's been so gracious and so willing and able, and he's been just so faithful. He's been coming every day, just putting in the hours, and believe it or not, all he gets from this endeavor is a free lunch every day. So we're not gonna miss that opportunity, right? You know, like Colonel Sanders is Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? That's the image. So at KoAloha, there's Papa KoAloha, and Papa KoAloha has on his trusty old apron, his eyeglasses, and his little driving hat. So this completes the Papa KoAloha image. So KoAloha.
Now, my focus is normally in classical music. That's, I guess, what I'm known for. And it's a little bit of Chopin and Bach and Beethoven and Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff. And for now, I would like to do a little sketch, the love theme from Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet.
Aloha. My name is Alvin Okami.
My name is Janice Kimura.
I'm the founder of KoAloha Ukulele.
I am Alvin's sister.
I've been around this earth for about 62 years.
Alvin is the youngest of 11 children.
Born January 5th, 1944
Alvin was born
on the island of Maui.
in a little town called Paia.
This was in 1944, and there was a huge tidal wave that hit the islands.
After the tidal wave, we discovered that our home was damaged, and the theater through which we had earned our living was also badly damaged. But somehow we managed to gather enough money to all come here to the island of
Oahu, which we are living on right now.
So that was back in 1946. Alvin was just 2 years old at that time. After coming here, we all lived together in a 2-story house. There were 20 of us.
I went to Ma'i school, that's my alma mater, and had lots of fun there till 6th grade.
Alvin grew up, I think, very happy. We thought someday he might become a lawyer. However, as the years went by, Alvin became more to himself. And when he entered middle school is when he began his first formal experience with music.
I enrolled in the 7th grade beginner's band and learned how to play the clarinet. And from there, I stuck with band till the 9th grade. By that time, I pretty much loved instrumental music, band music. I enrolled in McKinley High School and further pursued my musical interests in band. But something happened at McKinley High School which was a turning point, although I did not realize it at that time.
The instructor had advised him to pick the instrument oboe.
And so he said, "Congratulations, you are now going to be switched to playing oboe." He thought that I would have received the news with joy. I was rather disappointed, devastated, so to speak.
From that time on, he began to practice the oboe and became very adept at it.
I took the weekly lessons and I had no joy, but what I noticed after a while was that the band would play a serene section, then the oboe will play with a beautiful lyrical melody. It really got to me, and strangely enough, before I left high school, I loved playing the oboe.
In high school, one day they were in the band room and they were kidding around and he began to sing. And his band instructor noticed his voice and she said, "Alvin, you have a wonderful voice." So in spite of his shyness, she persuaded him to perform for the school assembly. And so this was his formal introduction to voice.
And so I learned the song recorded by Pat Boone, April Love. I went up to the mic and the band started playing, and then I just came in, "April Love is for the very young." And the entire audience went, "Wow."
We were shocked. The family was really amazed that he had this ability.
While I was in high school or in college, the beginning years of college.
Post high school, he began to enter voice contests.
At the Waikiki Shell. This is huge now. Thousands of people on the grassy area.
One particular contest, and I think it was the Aloha Week contest, and the song he performed was "The Days of Wine and Roses."
There were a whole bunch of contestants, and I did the song, and then at the end of the competition, it was time to announce the winners. We were waiting backstage, and they went from 4th prize, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and no mention of our group's name. And so, feeling rather down, I told the guys, "Okay, I guess that's it. Let's go." We started to walk out of the backstage door, and we hit the door, and as fate would have it, we hear the announcer saying That was the first prize, ladies and gentlemen. And now for the grand prize.
And he won the contest.
Alvin Okami in the Days of Wine and Roses. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we won.
I'd like to ask the founder of the KoAloha family to come in and do a song with me, and his name is Alvin Okami, of course, and he should be singing out in public, because he did so at one time. But I'm going to accompany him on a piece called The Days of Wine and Roses.
The days of wine and roses, laugh and run away, like a child at play, through a meadowland towards a closing door, a door marked nevermore, that wasn't there before. The lonely night discloses just a passing breeze, filled with those memories of that golden smile that introduced me to the days of wine and roses. The days of wine and roses. Those days of wine and roses. And you.
Alvin Okami.
And because of this, Mom came to love that song. So whenever we had special occasions, Alvin would sing that song for her.
When I went to university to major in music education to become a band teacher, my instrument major became the oboe. There were more juicy oboe solo parts that I absolutely waited for. And in fact, I really didn't want to play the rest of the song. I was just waiting to save my chops for the oboe solo. This was a time when Dr. Richard Lum was the bandmaster there, and he somehow knew Doc Severinsen of the Tonight Show band. Before Doc came on with his trumpet solo, for a number of measures at the beginning of the song, the measure came for me to play the oboe solo. I played it, and for some strange reason, I felt someone's eyes just looking at me. And then I looked up from my music stand. There was Doc in the front of the band holding his trumpet. He looked at me with a big smile, and he made this gesture. And that made I cannot tell you, that made my day. Little did I know, after the rehearsal, Doc went over to Mr. Lum. He said, hey Richard, who's that young man, that oboe player? Says, I'd like to take that boy with me back to the States and train him for my Tonight Show band. I was young, naive, and all this type of stuff, so I did not take Doc up on his offer. Mr. Lum told me one day, many years later, every single time Doc has come to Hawaii, it's almost as if no sooner he gets off the plane and after he finishes, "Hi Dick, you know, how's it going?" the next sentence out of his mouth is, "Hey Dick, whatever happened to that oboe player?" I'd like to be able to show him that I'm still in music, I love music, I'm fashioning beautiful ukuleles, which is my passion, it's my life, it's everything. I met my wife at that time in the University of Hawaii band when one day she came to school wearing a pair of blue jeans. That particular pair of jeans sure had an effect on me. This is within the confines of an ukulele factory, so we've got all kinds of machines making all kinds of loud noises and all that, so I hope you can bear along with that. So right now I'd like to introduce a dear friend who's been with me for 40 years or so. This gentleman is an awesome songwriter, super smart, super talented guy, and he's also a funny guy too. Without any further ado, I'd like to introduce my dear friend Roger T.
When I was 18, my father grabbed my guitar, threw it across the room, and told me that thing will never feed you. You're going to have to get a job. Actually, I knew Pat before I ever met Alvin. When she was working at the UH bookstore, I bumped into her again, and she told me she had a boyfriend who was waiting outside. So I went out and I met him, and here's this guy playing a ukulele. And I thought to myself, oh, that guy don't know how to play an ukulele, man.
Once the romance bug hit, out went the academics.
But I found out he was a fantastic musician. And after being introduced, I found out that he was interested in songwriting, which I had been doing for a while. So we got together and we began to compose a few songs.
After college, which I got out just shy of graduating, I needed to basically look for a job.
That led him to start out Commercial Music Hawaii. We began to do jingles, and we were cranking them out. Then we had a lot of competition from mainland firms that were just moving in at that time. And we began to lose some big accounts, so Alvin decided to join the Royal Hawaiian Band. And he became their principal oboe player and sometimes vocalist. But before that, he was the lead male vocalist for Herb Ota Sr.
And so I was thinking, my gosh, what am I going to do? So at that time, there was this gentleman called Ota-san, and he had made a huge hit playing an ukulele piece called Sushi. And what happened was he assembled a group. One day I heard about it and I went to audition as a vocalist. Immediately he said, I'm hired. We started playing all over Waikiki. I mean, all over. There were incidences where it was just hard to forget, and one of them, when we were playing at the Kaimana Beach Hotel. So Herb tells me, Tommy Sands came up to me and told me, hey, Ota-san, you know that young man? Says, I haven't heard anyone sing like that since Frank Sinatra. And at that time, I just received it, and I'm sure it didn't go to my head or anything like that. But then, not too long after that, we switched from Kaimana Beach Hotel, and another hotel we played was the Canoe House at the Ilikai Hotel. That's at the beginning part of Waikiki. And we played there for a while, and one night we were doing a set, and we had just finished, and a particular song I did was Born free as the wind blows. And so I sang that song, the set was over, then we congregated around the bar, sitting down, sipping my 7-Up, you know. And then this gentleman came over and he pulled Ota-san to the side. And this gentleman says, he sang that song just as well as I do. And so Herbert is thinking, who is this guy? And this gentleman says, pardon me, my name is Matt Monroe, the singer of Born Free. And so I'm thinking, wow, Born Free, Matt Monroe himself.
Patty and I used to follow Alvin around all the gigs, and we'd be touring all the service clubs and the clubs in Waikiki. And then during the days, we'd work on our music.
You might be curious to know why didn't I pursue a career and headline perhaps a Vegas hotel or whatever. When I was with the Otasan group, I was going with my wife, and when you're exposed to that type of lifestyle, late hours, in the wee hours of the morning, like 1, 2, 3 o'clock, I was exposed to temptation, young women, this type of stuff. I'm a singer, I was young. And so there came a point when I had to make a decision, and I don't regret it. Otherwise, I'd be on stage today. So getting out of that nightlife, that was fine, but basically I needed a job. And so one day, while I was thinking of what can I do with the rest of my life,
After working for the band for a while, he had this inner drive that he wanted to open up some kind of business. So he opened up Precision Plastics Hawaii, and he made a lot of these plastic dish drains with equipment that he himself engineered and manufactured. Then the people from Taiwan somehow began to copy everything he did, and the market fell apart.
so by 1995, we needed to bail out. We just needed to bail out.
So he needed something else to do. So one of our friends, Herb Ota Sr., he mentioned to Alvin, why don't you make ukuleles? And Alvin replied that he had no knowledge of how to make ukuleles, but he would try. And he tried, and he tried. And this is the original product. Herb looked at him and he said, can you make them a little bigger? And
Okay, wait. Wait.
so
Wait, Rogers is making it.
am I making that up? No, that's
Yeah.
how I call them as I see them.
Okay, wait.
He needed to do something, and by good fortune, he was steered into making ukuleles.
One day, along comes my former boss, Ota-san, who I haven't seen for 25, 30 years. Ota-san tells me perhaps I should try fashioning miniature ukuleles and selling them. He said, oh, you're gonna make money. To show you how much I thought of his idea, no sooner he left, I forgot completely about it. And the strange thing is, 2 weeks later, uncannily, the idea comes to me, the miniature ukulele you're going to make is not only a miniature, as regular miniatures are, but this miniature is going to be authentic, like for real. You can play it, you can tune it.
And on the ukulele festival, which is held every summer, he performed it.
It is an authentic ukulele. It's so hard, but I could do it easily before without my injury. But so this is a piece of KoAloha history.
I call it the KoAloha Ain't No Big Thing ukulele.
It ain't no big thing. Yeah, that's right.
And Alvin's ukulele career was born.
This is within the confines of a ukulele factory, so we've got all kinds of machines making all kinds of loud noises and all that. So, Roger T. Here we go, Raj.
It's believed that these instruments evolved from a Spanish small guitar called a bragina that was brought over by the Portuguese laborers, the vaqueros of Hawaii, who we called paniolos. And the Hawaiians, the native people, were fascinated by how the fingers would be going all over the neck and how quickly they could strum it. and they came up with the word ukulele. Uku means flea, and lele means to jump. So it's like a jumping flea. That's what it looked like when they were doing their quick strumming and their fingering. Over the years, it made some inroads into the mainland culture. I remember listening when I was a kid on the radio to Arthur Godfrey. And boy, I remember thinking, golly, so the ukulele actually came from the mainland. Because, you know, I had no knowledge of it. And then it became popular in an unusual way because Tiny Tim used it doing his Tiptoe Through the Tulips era of the 60s. Then locally, there was a renaissance of Hawaiian music. For the younger generation, they began to explode, learning all the different ins and outs, the versatility of this jumping flea instrument. This song is entitled Twilight. Thank you. That one I wrote about. The second week after Alvin gave me my first ukulele in 1997 in April, and that's one of my favorites. My tuning is a little bit different, so it's difficult for me to play the regular ukulele. Instead of doing the conventional slack, I tighten it. Slack key is what we call it. It's actually called alternative tunings. This exists all around the world actually. In the bush in Australia, they'll play a form of slack key. The Cajuns play a form of slack key. In Hawaiian, I guess the old Spanish cowboys, they brought the guitar with them. The Hawaiians didn't understand that type of music because Hawaiian music prior to that time was more in the form of chants. They called them mele. But after conventional music hit our shores, the Hawaiians realized that they had a lot of beautiful songs to sing. They had no knowledge of playing the instrument, but they found out that if they tuned it to a chord, like this C chord, they were able to make the components of songs, and they added their various stylings to them, and that's what we call paniolo music. The slack key music developed from that. And what can I say about Gordon Mark? Gordon Mark is remarkable. His talent is in his fingers, and it's like his heart comes out through his fingers, and he makes no mistakes when he plays. Each finger goes exactly where the flutter strums, his pinches and spreads, everything done so exquisitely. I asked Gordon how often do you practice? And he, without batting an eye, he said 8 hours a day, rain or shine.
Now, this size ukulele is a concert size. I'm going to hold up something that's a little larger, and this is a tenor size. And what's happening on this particular instrument here is that the top string is tuned 1 octave lower. So, now what it means is that these 4 strings here are tuned like the first 4 of the guitar. On this one here, the top string is 1 octave higher. 1 octave lower. Now if I did the same piece, I'm not going to do the whole thing. It would take on a kind of a different flavor. And if I just did the introduction, you would hear this sound only because of the top string being lower. As opposed to this. There is a difference. Now, if I did, I'm going to do a little ba on this, and it'll be the Yesu, Man's Joy of Desiring. Now, I'm going to do a part of it on this instrument, and I'm going to switch over to the other side, only so you can see the difference or hear the difference. Okay, let's start. Switch over to the next part of the song.
Past 3 weeks or so, we've been having some really rainy weather. And I was lying on my bed and doing some strumming, and then I heard the raindrops start to fall. Sounded like this. This ukulele, by the way, is unique. The black lines are ebony, the white line is spruce, the rest is koa. This is zebra wood. Ebony stripe binding goes all the way around. These scallops make it a double cutaway, and that's the basic design of the pineapple sundae. The unique sound is caused by believe it or not, these are mathematically derived formulas for the placement of the structures, the thickness of the structures. And when I asked Alvin, because I make ukuleles myself, I asked Alvin, what are you doing that's so different? And he was very cryptic, which is normally is with whenever I ask him questions of this nature. And he told me, whenever you add, you take away, and when you take away, you add. So I still haven't figured that out yet. The name of this song, KoAloha. The KoAloha is this beautiful frigate bird. It's got wide wingspan, and when you see it soar, it'll just hang in the wind. It floats on currents, and it can spend days and days on the wind, and they'll float over the currents that come out of the valleys. There's a lonely seabird, her home is on the wind, turns her wings on gentle breezes as the day begins. Looking at the seabird, my spirit wants to fly. Wish I was a seabird sailing in the sky. KoAloha, teach me to fly. Spread your silver wings before the sun gets too high. There are many things I must learn from you before the day is through. Teach me to fly like you. KoAloha, teach me to pray high above the wind. Show me which words to say. How do I begin? I must learn from you before the day is through. Teach me to pray with you. Over Waimanalo, a lonely seabird flies gently on peaceful wind. As the time goes by, I spend these countless hours just watching seabirds fly. Wish I was a seabird sailing in the sky.
I made it like a ball.
We will always maintain that part which I think is the most special about our family. perspective of always heart first. Care for others first.
Whenever I'm down, if I call him, I cannot talk to him too long because we'll start laughing, and after I laugh for more than 15 minutes, I'll spend the rest of the night coughing. Besides getting a bellyache. What more can I say about Alvin?
If we are going to succeed in the future, we want to succeed as a very caring, loving family who truly gives back, not just with material things, but with that support, that we're there and our sincerity is there behind everything that we do.
Thank you. Another feature of Papa KoAloha's masterpiece, Pineapple Sundae, is the sound is the most beautiful aspect of this ukulele. This Pineapple Sundae, the harder you strum, the louder it gets. The volume is absolutely unheard of. You could go 300-400 paces away and you'd still be able to hear it loud and clear. The Pineapple is truly a unique ukulele. Right now we'd like to do a number for you that's an original, composed by yours truly about 30-some-odd years ago. And the name of the song is A Dream Called Hawaii. 1, 2, 3. Paradise, I hear the sound of paradise. Listen to its haunting melody. Inasmuch as I love my Pineapple Sundae, my passion for this instrument is goes without saying for those who know me. But one day, Paul decided to do some experimenting with a 6-string ukulele. And walk with me, let's live this dream. And so he went ahead and he fashioned an experimental prototype with pieces of wood that he had. He strung it up and he started playing it, and he gave it to me to try, and I discovered that this instrument is the most exquisite sounding instrument I have ever played. I told Paul, when I play the 6-string, its magic wove its way into my heart. Today, I have put my Pineapple Sundae back in its case, closed the case, and in favor of playing the 6-string. And Paul, obviously seeing that I was more than attracted to this instrument, I had a fascination that went beyond fanaticism. I had this was my instrument, and he saw that. And so despite it being his first prototype, he went ahead and he got one of his custom stickers and he put it in there, and he signed it, and inside, I'll just tell you what it reads. To Pops, love, Paul. This land of misty waterfalls, where gentle rains may fall now and then.
Actually, Dad stole it. So since he already took it, I went and put that sticker in there. So.
See, nobody, but nobody, even the creator, Paul, was going to be able to take this instrument from me. It was not going to go to anybody except this old man.
One thing I learned about performing, if I'm gonna perform at any venue with Gordon, I'll make sure that I go before, because Gordon is such a hard act to follow. This first CD that he came up with, he does Hawaiian music, classical music, in the way that I wish I did if I came up with my CD. He followed that with no hair. So between the two of these CDs, you can have at least an hour of meditation. I think the best words I use to describe Gordon when anybody asks me about Gordon is, Gordon's simply awesome. He's accomplished in Hawaii, to me, the pinnacle of ukulele playing. We've got a lot of young ones coming up, and it takes, I'd say it takes 60 years to develop soul.
Now it's all pau in Hawaiian language. That means finito, finished, pau, over. Thank you so much. Aloha.